Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my TBR shelf. Today, I'm not only going to show you everything on my physical TBR, but we will also be getting down to business and reorganizing this hurricane, tsunami mess of a shelf. Once upon a time, I actually liked my chaotic TBR shelf, but now as my TBR shelf has grown and turned into shelves and has surpassed my ability to keep up with it, its reckless nature is just not cute and quirky anymore. It's not the vibe. I've realized that my current organization of no organization makes me forget what books I own because I'll be in the mood to, let's say, read a romance, but since all of my romances are scattered throughout the shelf, I end up forgetting I own certain books and then not getting to those books until months down the line. So it is about time we switch some things up and get more organized. If you have not seen my TBR shelf yet, here she is. This bookcase was originally bought by my brother from IKEA, but you know me and my familial kleptomatic tendencies. I stole it from him. Oh my god, guys, I can't believe I've never told you guys this story before. I just remembered something that happened last summer. I'm gonna get a little sidetracked here, but it'll be worth it. So one day over the summer, I was at Barnes & Noble, and this was the first time I've seen my Barnes & Noble since they redid the whole layout. So it was practically like a new Barnes & Noble to me, meaning I instantly started exploring the store like I would at any unfamiliar Barnes. But right as I turned the corner down a new aisle, there was this guy standing there, shoving manga down his pants. I should have known better. Nothing good ever happens when wandering down unknown territory. And this guy and I like made eye contact. So he knew that I knew what he was doing. I was so stunned. I've never witnessed such a criminal offense in Barnes of all places, for Christ's sake. I just had to share that story. That was really something. Okay, first I'm going to take all the books off the shelf, sort them into piles, and then we can go through the books and shelve them in a more satisfying manner.
You will be just fine in the summertime. Such a crime, 'cause we're in our prime. You will be alright when the stars align, 'cause you are mine and you satisfy me, and you satisfy me, and you satisfy.
Here are piles of books organized by genre. This is why you don't sleep with your short hair in a ponytail like this at night. Your hair just is crazy the next day. Learn from my mistakes. Starting with the top shelf, I think I'm gonna keep it relatively similar to how it was before with my Book of the Month books, and then maybe the rest of my hardcover thrillers if they'll fit. These first two books are on my fall TBR. I have Final Girls by Riley Sager and The Collective by Allison Galen. So, editing Sarah, I'm talking to you. They will be getting read in the next month. Possibly. I've actually done pretty well with my fall TBR, but ultimately I let my books decide for me which one to read. When determining my next read, I'll ponder my shelves until one speaks to me. Surprising, I know, my books are so smart they can talk. I also have No Exit by Taylor Adams. I'm fairly certain I'm gonna love this. After hearing all of its ravenous reviews, I have no doubt in my mind that this will be any less than a 5-star read. I've really had to practice some self-restraint and not read this book because I'm trying to save it until the winter so that the book and I's atmosphere can match, and it's gonna be a moment. I also have Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. After reading Daisy Darker by the same author, I'm really excited to see what other twists this author has up her sleeve. This is another one I'm saving for the winter because, come on, the cover. It's giving snowed in, sitting by the fireplace that I don't own, and curled up with this book kind of vibes. Ow! My toes! Oh my god, my toes. I'm like sitting on my feet and it's not. Oh my god, my toes. My toes are gonna be like so strong after this. Next I have Karen Slaughter, Oh my god, I did this in my last video too. Why would the cover designer place the name of the author before the title of the book in the same font? It keeps tripping me up. I have Girl Forgotten by Karen Slaughter. I also think I'm gonna put Pieces of Her before Girl Forgotten. Even though it's not a hardcover, I have to prioritize function over aesthetic. Oh, and then I also have Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. The Island by Adrienne McKenty. This is supposedly a secluded setting type of thriller that takes place on an island, which sounds right up my alley. Mushroom, you're gonna have to move over. Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. This is another one I've heard great things about. The Younger Wife by Sarah Hepworth, which I bought because of the Goodreads review section that went ham over this ending. That ending's very controversial, which may deter other readers. Not me. I feel like I'm gonna read this and then add buying this book to the list of bad decisions I've made in my life that could have been easily avoided. Oh, I have another Riley Sager. I have Survive the Night, which is also very divisive. We seem to have a theme going here regarding the books I buy, but I feel like I'm fulfilling my duty as a booktuber by reading these controversial books so then I can let you guys know if they're worth your time or not. I'm gonna give you the real tea. Let me waste my life so you don't have to waste yours. No need to thank me. Moving on to the second shelf. The Girl in 6E by A.R. Tour. I have two Ruth Ware books, One by One, which I am saving for winter. The synopsis sounds so similar to An Unwanted Guest by one of my faves, Sherry Lapina. They're both secluded, snowed in at a hotel thrillers where suddenly people start dropping like flies, and the guests realize that amongst them is a killer. But in this book, I believe all the characters are coworkers and they're at this workplace retreat or something like that. I'm not really sure, haven't read the book yet. I'll let you know when I find out. And then I have The Lion Game by Ruth Ware, Hidden Bodies by Caroline Kepnes, Hostage by Claire McIntosh. I've been telling myself for months that I'm gonna read this book soon, but guess what? It doesn't end up happening. The Overnight Guest by Heather Gudenkoff. So in this book, I'm pretty sure that a child shows up to this woman's cottage unannounced and then weird shit starts to happen. I love creepy children in books. Is reading these types of books one day gonna make me like a paranoid mom suspicious of her own child? Sounds like future Sarah's problem. Moving on. Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell, The Couple Next Door, and A Stranger in the House by, you already know, Sherry Lapina, of course. The Swap by Robin Harding. I picked this one up recently, and as in recently, I really mean last weekend. Can we guess why? I think reorganizing this today is really a good thing because maybe after getting an idea of the books I already own, I'll be more mindful with my purchases. So those are the thrillers I own and haven't read yet. I think I'm gonna shelve my very few fantasy novels next. I feel it in my bones that this winter is gonna be my fantasy awakening. I actually have a reading vlog planned to film of a certain fantasy series, which I do not own yet, but stay tuned. This series is one...
I'm listening.
I don't want you to listen. This series is one I've gotten numerous requests to read, so I'm gonna do it because I want to make you guys happy and I trust you guys. As for the fantasy that I do own, I have The Blood Spell by CJ Redwine. This is like a Cinderella retelling. Defy Me by Tahereh Mafi, which might be considered more dystopian, but there are fantasy elements in here. I still haven't picked up the other Shattered Me books that precede this book. To those that don't know, I got this book from a book fair for only $5.99, and I thought it was the second book in the series, not the like, what is this, like the 8th book or something? Not gonna lie, that wasn't my smartest moment. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. That was my very lame attempt at a British accent. By J.K. Rowling. I picked this up a few months back, read 5 pages, and put it back on my shelf. I usually never do that. I'll give a book like 50 to 100 pages before I DNF it or put it back on my TBR shelf. And I do want to read it eventually. How can I call myself a book lover if I haven't read Harry Potter? This was such a monumental book in the publishing industry. I learned about this in a class I took for my major, but this book was the first to be read by a large number of both adults and kids. So I kind of see it as like a classic now. Hopefully I will try it again. And then I have Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. I first saw Haley Pham rave about this book and I thought, oh, that sounds good, but I'm not really a fantasy girly. I want to be, but it just hasn't happened yet. But then I saw Books with Bethany here on Instagram and YouTube's review of this book, and she absolutely loved it, and so she has convinced me to give it a go. Oh my god, the publisher for this book is Squarefish Publishing. I've never heard of that publishing house before, but that's such a funny name. Sorry about that, I am back. I had to take a quick intermission to charge my camera battery. Since I have a lot of romances, I'm gonna dedicate the bottom shelf to them, which means that the rest of this shelf I'm gonna put my general fiction or other miscellaneous books, which is actually only 3 books. I have When Life Gives You Lululemons by Lauren Weisberger, My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell, and Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. This is the section where I would be okay with purchasing more books for. Basically anything that's not a thriller or a romance. Even though they're my favorite genres, I want to expand my reading taste more and become a more well-rounded reader. Romances and thrillers are actually more similar than one may initially think. I heard an author talk about this in an interview once and I found it so fascinating, but essentially romances explore human connection and 2 people coming together, whereas thrillers explore the dark side to humanity and how human connection has gone wrong. I don't think all of my romances are are gonna fit on the bottom shelf, so I'm gonna put some here too. I have I Kiss Sahara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. The Do-Over by Lynn Painter, which I also picked up last weekend because I am not having a repeat of when I bought Better Than the Movies. That book I saw at Barnes & Noble once and I thought it sounded good, but I didn't really feel a strong urge to pick it up that day. And at the time I thought I was being a smart shopper because I was like, I don't need this right now, I'll buy it some other time. If only I knew that I wouldn't find that book again for another 4 months. So I just went ahead and bought this one before it blows up and I can't find it. You know Lynn Painter's self-published book, Accidentally Amy? The same thing happened to me with that book as well. I saw it at Barnes & Noble, but my brain didn't register that it was by Lynn Painter, so I didn't pick it up. But then the book started to get more hype and I saw it all over social media, and now I haven't saw it again ever since. I have the Winter in Paradise trilogy by Ellen Hilderbrand. I'm actually gonna organize, even though this is the third book, I'm gonna organize it like this, so it's a little more aesthetically pleasing. Wait, I have to show you. This book is actually signs, which is cool. And then I have Golden Girl and 28 Summers by Ellen Hilderbrand. As we know, I am not the best at decision making, so I'm having a bit of trouble deciding which Hilderbrand to start next. I really enjoyed The Perfect Couple I read by her, and as time has gone on and I've thought about that book more, I've realized how great my reading experience actually was. So I'm just worried that these books aren't going to be as great as that book, and then they're going to taint my view of the author, which I know is a silly reason not to have read something. I just need to pick one up and start it already. The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren, which gives such Valentine's Day energy, so this is going to be a February read. Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. We have a little bit of an awkward angle going on, but you'll survive. But this way you can see the bottom shelf. I have 2 Taylor Jenkins Reid books, One True Loves and Maybe in Another Life. The Score and The Goal by Elle Kennedy. The Complete Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy by Jenny Han. My problem was that I picked this up at the end of the summer and then ran out of time to read it. So I will patiently wait for 6 or so months until 2023 summer so then I can binge read these and then hack my dad's Amazon Prime account and watch the adaptation. It Starts With Us by Coho. It Had to Be You by Georgia Clark. Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne. Heart and Soul by Jen Frederick. Oh, My Thanksgiving Break Read. When in Rome by Sarah Adams. Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. Funny You Should Ask by Lisa Sussman. Susamana? I've heard that this is similar to The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I by no means think that this will be better than that book, but it'll be interesting to see the similarities between them. The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. We're really getting through them now. I'm getting a little burnt out. The Stand-In by Lily Chu. This is Sarah Hogel's new release, Just Like Magic. Sarah Hogel wrote You Deserve Each Other. This sounds like such a fun holiday read. I've had this on my to-read list like months and months and months prior to when it was actually released. It sounds like there's gonna be like some holiday magic in here. Fun. 8 Perfect Hours by Leah Louise. My winter TBR has a lot of reading potential this year. Kiss the Sky by Krista and Becca Ritchie. The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. The Confidence of Wildflowers by... I'm not even going to try to pronounce the author's name. Thank You for Listening by Julia Whelan. Twisted Lies by Anna Huang. And then I have 2 graphic novels. I have Heartstopper by Alice Osman and After by Anna Todd. Well, there you have it. That is everything on my physical TBR. How many books do I have? I have 1, 2, 59, 60, 61. I have 61 books on my physical TBR. I think that's like twice as much as I would have guessed. I mean, compared to the 82 books I have already read this year, I don't think this is that unrealistic. I mean, sure, this would take me maybe like 6 months tops to get through. Code Red, I have lost my lip gloss. Where did I put it? This is very unfortunate. Not like it was Dior or anything. Except it was. I found it. I left it in my bathroom. I'm really liking the organization. I think it's gonna work a lot better for me and be less confusing. That is gonna be it for this video though. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. It really does help me and my channel out a lot. Let me know how you organize your TBR. Do you have a shelf or shelves like I do? Maybe you use one of those metal utility carts, or maybe you just shove your unread books in with your read books. That's some chaotic behavior, my friends, but if it works for you, I love that for you. Or maybe you don't have a TBR and you buy one book at once, which is also great, and honestly, you're a lot more strong-willed than I am. Let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you all are having a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!